Life's knocked you down? Time to rise and reclaim your story. Life has a way of knocking us down. You're carrying that weight. The mistakes, the regrets, the missed opportunities. But listen up. That's not your destiny. It's just a chapter. Today, we're turning that page. Your past may feel like a minefield of what-ifs and if only. We've all been there. The promotion you missed, the relationship that crashed and burned, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers. They haunt you, don't they? But here's the truth. They don't define you. They never did. Today, we're going to rewire your brain. We're going to transform those past failures into fuel for your future. This isn't just some feel-good nonsense. This is about forging yourself into the person you're meant to be. Why should you care? Because right now you're fighting with one hand tied behind your back. Your past is holding you hostage, and it's time for a jailbreak. Whether you're 16 or 60, at the bottom or clawing your way to the top, this is your wake-up call. Are you ready to break free? Are you prepared to turn your scars into stars? Let's dive in and rewrite your story. Chapter 1. The Weight of the Past. Let's get real for a moment. Your past, it's like quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. You replay those moments, those failures, over and over. It's a broken record, and you're the needle stuck in the groove. How often have you stopped yourself from taking a risk because of what happened before? How often do you hear that voice in your head saying, "Remember what happened last time"? It's paralyzing, isn't it? But this isn't just all in your head. Science backs it up. Our brains are wired to remember negative experiences more vividly than positive ones. It's called negativity bias. Back in the day, it kept us alive. Now it's keeping you from truly living. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine carrying a backpack. Every regret, every mistake, every missed opportunity, you toss it in. Day after day, year after year. How heavy is that pack now? How fast can you run with all that weight? But here's the kicker. You're not just hurting yourself. The weight affects everything. Your relationships, your career, your dreams. You're not showing up as your best self because you're too busy being your past self. And let's be honest, it's comfortable in a twisted way, right? Dwelling in the past gives you an excuse. I can't succeed because of what happened. It's a get-out-of-jail-free card for not taking risks or putting yourself out there. But ask yourself this, is that backpack worth the life you're missing out on? Are those old stories worth sacrificing your future for? Here's the truth, and it might sting a little. The past is only as powerful as the meaning you give it. You're the author of your story, but right now, you're letting your past hold the pen. It's time to snatch it back. Chapter 2. Reframing your story. Your past isn't a prison, it's a classroom. Every setback, every fumble, every faceplant into the dirt. That's not failure, that's education. Think about it. You learn to walk by falling. You learn to talk by babbling nonsense. Why should life be any different? Let's borrow a page from the Stoics, the ancient philosophers who believed external events don't hurt us. It's our judgment about them that does the damage. As Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." So how do we turn our past from a burden into a boost? First, stop seeing yourself as a victim. You're not a punching bag for fate. You're a warrior in training. Every hit you take is just toughening you up for the next round. Second, get curious. Instead of beating yourself up over past mistakes, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? That failed relationship? It may have taught you what you need in a partner. That job loss? It may have shown you what you're truly passionate about. Third, practice gratitude. Yes, it sounds soft, but hear me out. What if every bad thing that happened to you was setting you up for something better? That breakup, it freed you up to meet the right person. That setback at work, it pushed you to start that business you've been dreaming about. Here's a challenge for you. Take your biggest regret, the one that keeps you up at night, and find 3 ways it has made you stronger, wiser, or more resilient. I'll wait. Done. Good. That's the power of reframing. You just turned poison into medicine. Remember, your past doesn't define you. It refines you. It's not about forgetting what happened. It's about changing what it means. You're not erasing your history. You're rewriting it. Chapter 3. Learning from failure. Failure. Let's cut to the chase. Failure isn't your enemy. It's your greatest ally. Every time you fall, you're not falling behind. You're falling forward. Think about the last time you failed. The gut-wrenching disappointment, the shame, the self-doubt. Now imagine if you could harness that energy, turn that pain into power. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher born into slavery who rose to become one of the greatest thinkers of his time, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Let that sink in. Your failure doesn't define you. Your response does. Here's a hard truth. Success is a lousy teacher. It's seductive. It makes you think you're invincible. Failure keeps you hungry, humble, and always learning. Let me ask you this. Have you ever met someone who's never failed? I'll tell you what they look like. Soft, untested, unprepared for life's real challenges. Now think about the people you admire, the ones who've achieved greatness. I guarantee you their path wasn't a straight line. It was a messy, chaotic scribble of attempts, failures, and comebacks. Take Thomas Edison, for example. The man failed 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about it, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the mindset of a winner. Or consider J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter, she was a broke, divorced, single mother on welfare. 12 publishers rejected her first book. Now she's one of the most successful authors in history. These aren't just feel-good stories. They're blueprints. They show us that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of success. So here's what I want you to do. Next time you fail, and you will fail, because you're human and you're trying, I want you to celebrate. That's right, celebrate. You've just found a way that doesn't work. You're one step closer to finding what does. Remember, the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. Every scar you have is a lesson learned, and every setback sets you up for a comeback. Seneca, another Stoic heavyweight, put it this way: difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Your failures aren't weakening you. They're forging you into something stronger, something better. So, make me a promise. Next time you fail, instead of beating yourself up, ask yourself these questions. What did this teach me? How can I use this? How did this make me stronger? Because here's the truth. You haven't failed until you quit. Everything else is just learning. Are you ready to turn your failures into fuel? Are you ready to fall forward? Chapter 4. The power of present focus. Your power isn't in your past, and it's not in your future. It's right here, right now. The present moment is your playground. Let's get real. How much time do you spend reliving past mistakes or worrying about future problems? If you're like most people, it's way too much. You're letting life slip through your fingers while stuck in your head. Marcus Aurelius dropped this truth bomb. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. The past, it's gone. The future, it's not here yet. All you've got is now. Think about this. Have you ever been so focused on something, a game, a conversation, a task, That time seemed to disappear. That's what psychologists call the flow state. It's when you're fully present, fully engaged. And guess what? That's where peak performance happens. I'm not saying to ignore your past or never plan for the future. I'm saying don't let them ruin your present. Your past doesn't need you. Your future doesn't exist yet. But this moment, it needs you. Fully here. Here's a challenge for you. For the next 24 hours, catch yourself whenever your mind wanders to the past or future. Bring it back to now. What do you see? What do you hear? What can you do right now to move toward your goals? Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Are you fully appreciating what's in front of you? Or are you too busy regretting yesterday and worrying about tomorrow? Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're driving a car. The windshield is huge, but the rearview mirror is tiny. Why? Because what's ahead of you is much more important than what's behind you. Your life should be the same way. Here's the thing about focusing on the present. It's where your power lies. You can't change the past. You can't control the future. But right now, in this moment, you have the power to choose, to act, to change. Buddha, not a Stoic, but hey, wisdom is wisdom, said, "The secret of health, for both mind and body, is not to mourn for the past, worry about the future, or anticipate troubles, but to live in the present moment, wisely and earnestly." So here's what I want you to do. Take a deep breath. The next time you dwell on the past or feel anxious about the future, feel your feet on the ground. Look around. Ask yourself, what can I do right now to make progress? Remember, life isn't something that happens to you. It's something that happens right now, and you have the power to shape it. Chapter 5. Breaking the chains of expectation. Society, family, friends, they all have expectations for you. But here's the truth. Those expectations are their limitations, not yours. As the ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said, "Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner." Let that sink in. Every time you live up to someone else's expectations, you're locking yourself in a cell of their design. Think about it. How many times have you held back because you thought, "That's not what people like me do"? How often have you silenced your dreams because they didn't fit the mold others created for you? Here's a hard truth. The world doesn't need another carbon copy. It needs you, the real, unfiltered, unapologetic you. Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary Japanese swordsman and philosopher, once said, "Do not fear death. Fear instead never beginning to live." Are you truly living if you're constantly trying to meet others' expectations? Challenge every should in your life. Question every supposed to. Are these your goals or someone else's dreams for you? Remember, the path of least resistance leads to a life of quiet desperation. Don't go quiet. Go boldly. Move in the direction that sets your soul on fire, even if it means disappointing a few people along the way. Here's an exercise. Write down all the expectations others have of you. Now cross out the ones that don't align with your true self. Feel that? That's the weight lifting off your shoulders. The Buddha said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." So what do you want to become? A people pleaser, living someone else's life, or the architect of your own destiny? Your potential isn't limited by others' imagination. It's limited by your courage to break free from their expectations. So I ask you, are you ready to shatter the mold? Are you prepared to disappoint a few people to become the person you were meant to be? Because at the end of your life, you won't regret the expectations you failed to meet. You'll regret the life you failed to live. Chapter 6. Shape your future. Your future isn't some distant land you'll stumble into. It's a place you create right now with every choice you make. Your past is just raw material. You're the blacksmith, and this moment is your forge. Let's get something straight. Your future isn't written in stone. Your past mistakes or current circumstances do not dictate it. It's shaped by your actions, your decisions, and most importantly, your mindset. Seneca, that old Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not because things are difficult that we dare not venture. It's because we dare not venture that things are difficult." Think about that. How often have you held back because you thought you weren't ready? Because you were afraid of failing again? Here's the truth. You'll never be 100% ready. The perfect moment doesn't exist. Your future is built in the trenches of today, through blood, sweat, and relentless forward motion. Imagine this. You're standing at the foot of a mountain. Your past is the valley behind you, and your future is the peak ahead. Now, are you going to stand there, paralyzed by the summit's height, or are you going to start climbing one step at a time? Marcus Aurelius didn't mince words when he said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Your future isn't something that happens to you. It's something you happen to. Now consider where you want to be in 5 years. Got it? Good. Now here's the million-dollar question. What are you doing today to make that happen? Because your present actions create your future self. Every great achievement in history started with a single step. The Great Wall of China began with one brick. Your transformation starts with one decision, right now. Here's a hard truth. Your past doesn't equal your future unless you live there. You're not a tree. You're not rooted to one spot. You can move, you can grow, you can change. Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." It's not enough to dream about your future. You've got to put in the work to make it real. So here's what I want you to do. Take out a piece of paper and write down your vision for your future. Now underneath that, write 3 things you can do this week to move toward that vision. Not next month, not next year, this week. Remember, your future is created in the present. Every decision you make and every action you take is a brushstroke on the masterpiece of your life. So, are you going to keep rehashing the same old picture? Or are you ready to create something new? Your past has brought you here, but it doesn't get to decide where you go next. That power lies with you, right here, right now. Chapter 7, Turning Pain into Power. The pain you're carrying isn't a burden, it's rocket fuel. Every scar, setback, and moment that brought you to your knees is potential energy waiting to be ignited. As the Stoics taught, that which does not kill us makes us stronger. But let's go further. It doesn't just make you stronger, it makes you unstoppable. Every hardship you faced has taught you something. Resilience, creativity, grit. These aren't just words. They are weapons you forged in the fires of adversity. The most influential people in history aren't those who had it easy. They are the ones who've been through hell and returned with a map for others. Here's what I want you to do. Take your biggest pain point, that thing that keeps you up at night, and ask yourself, how can I use this? How can I turn this poison into medicine? Not just for myself, but for others. Your failed business could become the foundation for a mentorship program. That heartbreak may become the inspiration for art that moves people. Your rock bottom can be the bedrock for someone else's breakthrough. This isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about acknowledging your pain, respecting it, and using it as a catalyst for growth. Remember, a diamond is just coal. that handled stress exceptionally well. So, are you ready to stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the alchemist of your life? Are you prepared to transmute your pain into power? Chapter 8. Practical Steps for Change. Now that we've discussed turning pain into power, let's dive into practical steps for change. Because knowledge without action is like a Ferrari without gas. It's impressive, but useless. Self-reflection. Every night before bed, ask yourself, what did I learn today? How did I grow? What can I do better tomorrow? This simple exercise reprograms your mind to focus on growth rather than guilt. Gratitude practice. Every morning, list 3 things you're grateful for. These can be big or small, training your brain to focus on the positive shifts your mindset away from the negative. Reframe your self-talk. When you catch yourself saying things like, "I always screw up," or "I'll never be good enough," replace them with, "I'm learning and getting better every day." Your words shape your reality, so choose them wisely. Create a failure resume. List your biggest failures and what you learned from each one. This isn't a pity party. It's a celebration of your resilience. It's proof that you can take a hit and keep moving forward. Mindfulness practice. Set aside 10 minutes a day to be present. Mindfulness builds mental resilience, helping you stay focused on the now instead of getting trapped in the past. Break down goals. Reverse engineer your dreams. Want to run a marathon? Start with a 5K. Want to write a book? Start with a page a day. Break big dreams into small, daily actions. Face daily fears. Do one thing every day that scares you. It doesn't have to be big. It could be speaking up in a meeting or trying a new workout. Doing this regularly will build your courage and prove that you can handle discomfort. Visualization. Spend 5 minutes a day imagining yourself succeeding and overcoming obstacles. Your mind can't always distinguish between imagination and reality, so use this to your advantage. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. Seek mentors, join groups, and read books by those who've overcome similar challenges. Your environment shapes you, so make sure it's pushing you in the right direction. Yes, this sounds like a lot of work, and it is. But ask yourself, is the life I want worth the effort? Chapter 9. Overcoming Challenges. This journey won't be easy. You'll face obstacles, doubts, and old habits trying to pull you back. But remember, the obstacle is the way. Every challenge you encounter is an opportunity to prove your strength, sharpen your skills, and become better than before. Silence the voice of doubt. That nagging voice telling you you're not good enough. Silence it through action. Prove it wrong every single day. Step out of the comfort zone. Your comfort zone is cozy, but nothing grows there. Get uncomfortable, because that's where growth happens. Embrace setbacks. Setbacks aren't failures. They're setups for comebacks. Every time you fall, you learn how to get back up stronger. Ignore the naysayers. People might not understand your journey and may try to pull you back. Their opinion is none of your business. Your growth is. Build discipline, not just motivation. Motivation is fickle, but discipline is reliable. Build habits that pull you toward your goals, even on your worst days. Be patient. Real change takes time. Visualize your future self thanking you for not giving up. So what's the biggest challenge standing between you and the life you want? Name it. Face it. The bigger the challenge, the more glorious the victory. Your call to action. The past is a place of reference, not residence. You have the power to stop being a prisoner of your history and start being the architect of your destiny. Every hero faces challenges, but the bigger the dragon, the more rewarding the victory. Your future self is watching. Make them proud. Start today. Go out there and show the world what you're made of. You're not just capable of change. You are the change. Let's do this.